This happened back in 2017 when I was living in Jacksonville, Florida. I've always been a massive homebody. Honestly, the type of person who prefers curling up in bed reading 3 terrifying true stories online rather than actually going out and living through them. So when my coworker Rachel, who was about 10 years younger than me, started relentlessly begging me to go out, I kept declining. She and another girl from work, Sarah, were persistent though, and after weeks of asking, I finally gave in. I told Rachel I would join them for a night out the following weekend. As the weekend approached, Rachel came to my apartment. She wanted to leave her car there and have me drive, which immediately stressed me out. I had lived in Jacksonville for 4 years, but since I rarely left my neighborhood, I knew absolutely nothing about the local nightlife. The farthest I usually drove was 4 miles to the nearest Walmart, or occasionally a 3 scary true gas station to fill up before retreating to my sanctuary. If I went any further, I'd be hopelessly lost without my GPS. That evening, we got into my car and headed towards Sarah's apartment. When we arrived, Sarah wasn't quite ready, so we went inside and waited. When she was ready, all 3 of us piled back into my car. Since I was driving, Rachel had to navigate. We eventually ended up at a busy club. It was chaotic, loud, and reminded me of the setting for a 3 very scary true New Year's Eve disaster, even though it was just a regular weekend. We went inside, found a spot, and ordered some drinks. We hadn't been there long when Rachel said, "Hey, I'll be right back. I see someone I know." She then asked Sarah to go with her. I remember feeling a sharp stab of annoyance. Why beg me to come out only to leave me alone moments later? But I waited. A few minutes later, Rachel and Sarah returned, smiling. "My friend bought us around," Rachel announced, handing me a glass. I trusted her. She was my coworker, so I took the drink as they did theirs. I believe Rachel's friend bought us 2 rounds each. It wasn't long after the 3rd drink that something felt terribly wrong. The room didn't spin, but a wave of 3 disturbing, true scary sensations and thick, unsettling dread washed over me. I turned to Rachel and insisted we have to go now. The next few hours are a blur. I don't remember leaving the club, but apparently we did. The first thing I recall clearly is sitting outside Sarah's apartment complex, still in the driver's seat of my car. I heard Rachel and Sarah talking, and whatever they said, some combination of words I can't recall to this day, instantly triggered my fight or flight response. I didn't need to understand the words. My gut knew I was in danger. I slammed the car into drive and sped away. Whatever had been slipped into my drink was powerful. I wasn't a lightweight, and I'd only consumed 3 club drinks, which are often watered down. I was driving all over Jacksonville, unable to focus, simply trying to figure out how to get home, but my mind was completely scrambled. At one point, I stopped at a red light. Suddenly, 2 figures appeared at my window, and then someone was pulling my car door open. I was in total shock. It was a 3 genuinely scary true moment that I will never forget. My car doors automatically locked the second I put the vehicle in gear. I still have no idea how they managed to open it. 2 strange men were actively pulling the door open, and the sight snapped me out of the mental fog just enough for me to hit the gas and flee the intersection. After that moment of sheer terror, the memory vanishes again. The next thing I remember, I was sitting in my car parked near a row of quiet homes. I was staring blankly at my phone, trying desperately to figure out how to operate it, but the drug had made me so paranoid and confused that the simplest action felt impossible. I looked around, saw no one, and convinced myself I was safe for the moment. I reclined the seat and fell into a deep drug-induced sleep. I woke up around 5 a.m. with the drug wearing off. I was finally able to use my phone. I put on the GPS and drove straight home, collapsing into bed immediately. I woke up again around 11 a.m. to 20 missed calls, mostly from Rachel, but a few from a concerned friend. When I called Rachel back, she was frantic, demanding to know where I went. "What do you mean?" I retorted. "Your friend spiked my drink, and I wasn't sticking around to find out what was going to happen next," I told her. Rachel then let slip a chilling line. "The spiked drinks weren't meant for you." That casual admission was all the confirmation I needed that she was involved. She quickly told me that she would stop by later to pick up her vehicle. Before she arrived, the memory of those 2 guys opening my door returned with jarring clarity. Had it been a hallucination, or was it real? I went outside to check my car, and there it was. The plastic casing of my driver's side door handle was completely missing. Whoever had been holding onto that handle when I sped away must have ripped it right off. The physical damage confirmed that the terror I felt wasn't a delusion. Someone had tried to get into my car while I was drugged, driving alone, and vulnerable. I was furious that Rachel had put me in such a predicament. I never spoke to her again. The moral of this terrifying story is simple, and it's the only reason I'm still here. Always trust your instincts. Your gut feelings are always right. This happened when I was a teenager that lives in a lively coastal town in Oregon. It's very popular among tourists during the summer and becomes quiet during the other seasons. I go to high school here, and while we often share 3 creepy true school legends, nothing prepared me for reality. The main attraction of our town is the beach that stretches a few miles down to these sand dunes that are great for a scenic walk. The hills within are easy to get lost in, but at the same time, easy to make your way out of, as if you walk a mile in any direction, you're sure to be back on the beach or on the path that leads back to a parking lot. The walk from this parking lot is around 15 to 20 minutes, provided you make good pace, so you're never truly isolated there. During the day, you'll always see families with young kids taking a stroll down there or somebody walking the dog. My point here is that the dunes are known to be safe during the day. However, getting lost in the dark can feel as isolating as those disturbing cases of caving gone wrong you hear about. This story takes place a few weeks after school started back up, so town is quieter and the evenings grow darker. My friends and I are part of the local scouting troop. Our group is split into 4 units, being Cub Scouts for ages 5 to 8, Webelos for 9 to 12, Scouts for 12 to 15, and lastly, Venturers for ages 16 to 18. We meet every Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m., whether it be inside or outside. It depends on the time of year. On this night, it was the Scouts' first night back after the summer break, so as per the tradition, we meet at the parking lot by the walk to the sand dunes, and the Scouts would walk down to the dunes. We would have the older Scouts hike up the biggest of the dunes, and then have the newer Scouts, the 12-year-olds, follow them. So the older Scouts help the newer Scouts to reach the top, and when they do, they're officially considered Scouts. So the Scouts set off while me and the other Venturers stayed behind to practice our first aid for about 45 minutes. We did pretty well in that, and we decided we still had time to go to the dunes. The quicker walkers, including myself, reached the dunes first. The tide was fully in, so we weren't able to walk on the beach to the biggest dune, which was known as Titan's Hill, so we just walked through the other hills of the dunes. My friend and I, who I'll call Matt, were set on reaching the Scouts, who at this point had all made it to the top of Titan's Hill. We shouted back to our leader and the other Venturers what we were going to do, and another 2 people decided to join us, who I'll call Chris and Josh. The others were a good bit behind, so they went into pairs and split up in checkpoints, so the 4 of the people going to see the Scouts were able to find our way back. So me, Matt, Chris, and Josh took off, in the near pitch-black dunes, tripping and falling all over the place, going up and down hill after hill while scraping our legs on the pointed grass and the occasional thorn bush. The air was crisp and cold, resembling a 3 scary, true snowy night, even without the snow. The moon illuminated the silhouette of the Scouts, and we were further away than we thought. We stopped to rest on a ridge, where we looked back and saw another 2 Venturers looking towards us. We gave them a wave, and they returned it. I was closing my bottle of water, getting ready to run again, when Chris shushed us all. He looked mildly concerned at first, but he seemed to shrug it off. We questioned him as to why he shushed us, to which he replied, "Did you hear that?" We shook our heads, so Chris said he thought he heard something rustling in the bushes, but we put it down to the wind, although it was a very still night. After another 10 minutes, we were on the last hill before we reached the Scouts, and we were exhausted, but we pushed through and made it up to them. We said hello to our friends and Scouts, welcomed the new Scouts, and decided we had to head back as it was now basically pitch black out. And again, we had no flashlight. We tumbled down the big hill, catching our footing again on the sand, and we began making our way back to the Venturers we saw on the ridge. We ran up and down the hills again until we made out the outline of the ridge we saw the Venturers on. They were still there. We were relieved to see them there, even though we knew they would be. Finally, the 4 of us made it up to them. I'll call them Brad and Jessica. Brad is a big guy muscle-wise and is known in school for his intelligence. He's about 6'3" and looks like he could beat up a bear in a fistfight. Jessica is a quiet girl, but very smart, both in school and in social situations. Even without a flashlight, I could see a look of panic on Brad's face, along with Jessica visibly shaking beside him. "What's wrong?" asked Matt, speaking all our minds. Brad looks me dead in the eyes and says, "Were you walking around on your own down there?" pointing down to a clearing in the hills where people might come to have a drink or a smoke. "No, I've been with the others the whole time. Why?" I replied, feeling my heart rate increase. I think all of us had the same realization at the same time. We were living one of those 3 very scary being followed scenarios. We could nearly feel each other's blood run cold. Jessica and I saw a man with his hood up, dressed in all black, circling this clearing, obviously avoiding us. "We thought it was you at first, but it was too out of character for you," Brad said, looking at me. I was about to speak, but Brad kept going. He said, "When we waved at you from the other ridge, we hadn't seen this guy yet, but the minute you were off of it, we saw what I assume is the same guy standing where you stood, looking in your direction." It hit me then, and I had a constant shiver running through me, a feeling colder than a 3 chilling true scary blizzard. Chris must have heard him moving around when we were up there. We were being followed. There's safety in numbers, so the 6 of us made our way down to the clearing where the man was spotted. "He didn't even have a flashlight," said Jessica in a shaky voice. Brad and Jessica rushed toward the Scouts to warn their leaders about the situation, while the other 4 of us stayed back and kept watching the clearing. Brad and Jessica came back quickly after warning the Scouts. It was oddly quiet now. We were terrified that this man dressed in all black without a flashlight circling the place, and most scary of all, alone in the pitch black dunes, was going to jump out and attack. Luckily, that never happened. We hurried back to the parking lot, finding the last 3 Venturers along with our leader on the way back, notifying them of the situation. We were nearly out of the dunes when one of the younger Scouts let out a scream, which prompted all the others to run. Matt and I leading the walk back were the ones who rushed to the kid first. The poor child was in tears, and when we asked him what happened, he pointed to my left.
There he was, the same man standing on a ridge, just looking at us. Matt told everyone to run, as he said he saw a knife in the man's hand. The venturers all carried the slower children back to the parking lot, which was safe as far as we assumed. I never saw the man's face, nor do I plan on finding out who it was. The scouts and venturers were collected by their parents, who I assume all have their versions of the story, but only a handful know the full one. This happened when I was 22 years old. I was working as a bartender at a small dive bar a few blocks from my apartment. The things you see there could rival any 4 very scary true night shift compilation. By no means a fancy place, just a bunch of locals who would come and get their late night drinks or to watch whatever games were on. I started recognizing regulars pretty quickly, a lot of them older guys. After my shifts, I usually walked home because it was so close, and sometimes I'd have a couple shots with customers near closing time, so driving wasn't smart. The walk only took about 7 minutes, and I had done it so many times that I never really felt scared before. There was one regular who always made me uncomfortable though. His name was Brian. I knew this because of his credit card.